All right, all right, all right. We in here.
We're live. All right.
We
We're
live.
back. We are the Coley Crowns. I'm Miss Shantae.
And I'm Lori, and welcome to our queendom. Hey.
So we had a little vacation, so we took a couple weeks off, but we're back and we're going to recap episodes 4 and 5 of Ready to
Mhm.
Love. So if you missed us, if you're watching, join us. Tell us what your thoughts are from the last couple episodes, and communicate with us. Let us know what you're thinking, your thoughts of the show, the couples, all of that. So before we start, though, I want to remind you to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button. Um, that way you're notified when we go live. Anything else? Any church announcements? That's what Kevin saying. Say. Before we
Church
get started.
announcements is hey y'all, we see y'all be watching our videos, okay? I
Ah,
mean, we're not,
mhm.
million plus subscribers. YouTube is not gonna be sending us no little plaque and stuff. But if you watch it, just go ahead and put the like, you know, just click like, the thumbs up, subscribe, because we see you
Something.
watching. So you might as well just go ahead and do that one little tap, tap, tap. Thank you. That was a church announcement.
And while you're at it, again, share our videos with your family and friends
Yes.
who's watching. Let them join the conversation. Like our Instagram page at the Coley Crowns. We're interactive, so if you leave us a comment, we'll respond, get right back to you. With that, shout out to Aries, our girl Aries,
Hi,
who has been
Aries.
watching and left a comment and helped us with the pronunciation
Okay.
of
Okay.
Mr. M's name. We're gonna get it
Mm-hmm.
right. We're gonna get it right. I'm gonna
Yes.
let you get the first stab at it though, not me.
Moye.
More. There we go. We got it. Thank you for the help, Aries. All right, so let's get started. So
Let's get started.
last week's episode 4,
Mm-hmm.
is now in the guys' hand, right? No, the women. Women are in control. Women are in control. Previously, if you watch, you know that 2 new people came into the process, Kat and Christopher. So
Mm-hmm.
this will be their first time really getting involved and seeing everyone and meeting everyone in the process. So first date is Mr. Shoot. Now I'm looking at it. I don't went blank on how to
Don't
pronounce
look
it. Say
at
it for
it.
me, Lord.
Moye.
Oh,
Don't look at it.
Maya.
Yeah.
Don't look at it. And Sierra. I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
Give me some time. I'm gonna get it.
Yes.
So that's the first couple to go on a date this for episode 4. Um, that was an interesting one. I mean, they all should get the chance to talk and get to know each other.
Right.
I totally afford that. But the conversation, how they're talking about how comfortable they are and talking with each
Mm-hmm.
other, I was like, I did not see that one coming.
Me either. I thought it was cute though. The date was cute. They were flirty, giggly, and they were talking
Mm-hmm.
about stuff. It just seemed like a natural date. So yes, it was cute and unexpected to me too, because I was not thinking about them two at all. So
Right. So, and previously, right, he said he had a connection with someone I'm still learning names. Do you remember who it was? Who he had a little connection with? He went out with someone.
he went out with them that we saw.
I think in one of the earlier episodes. Yes. Who was that? I can't remember.
I don't know. Sorry. I'm going in
Okay.
my notes. If I find it, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far back. But okay. So yeah, so it was somebody else. And so I was like, okay, interesting. So he had that connection. So this kind of again caught me off guard. But it was interesting to see that. And again, I think they all should date, like really date and talk to each other. Otherwise, how do you know who you like? And it's hard at the very beginning, at the little mixture that they have to really get to know, because you just giving pleasantries like, hey, how you doing? Where you from? All that small talk stuff.
Right.
So next we have Lee and Red. Didn't see that one either. Like
At all.
at the very beginning when they were like sitting at the table, I was like, this ain't going nowhere.
Is it
This is
me, or
not going
sometimes
anywhere.
she seems so awkward to me. I was watching a date, like, why is she whispering? Like, why is she doing, like, she felt so weird. I don't know.
Her voice, I don't know. It sounds like to me she needs to clear her voice or something. Like it's that raspiness or something, but it does sound like she's whispering. And I don't. It at this date, it was like she was wanting Red to be someone. Not that he's not that person, but he was trying to give another side of himself,
Right.
right? So we know
Right.
that he's in the entertainment business, so he's a DJ and all of that. So he can turn up the personality and be the fun guy. And that's who she wanted and was expecting on this date.
But
And
why?
he was trying to give her layers and tell
Right.
her about himself and his corporate side of things and what he
Hmm.
did. And she was not here for it. And I was
She was
like,
rude. She was kind of rude
I
to
thought so
me.
too.
I was just like, just let the man talk. I understand if you're bored by it, be bored by it. But to let him know, like, oh, well, you're gonna have to like give me some more of this, give me some more. If that's not what he giving you, that means you don't like him. That's it. Don't tell somebody to basically change who they are presenting to you unless you think it's inauthentic. But I didn't read it as inauthentic. I read it as, hey, I want to give you more information about me other than probably what you've heard from other people, or maybe you heard me
Mm-hmm.
on the radio or whatever. This
But
is
just
the
showing
real
you
me.
another side of me.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
Because,
were at
it goes to
dinner.
be, and
It's
you
not
at
like you
dinner.
were
Like, what do
like
you
at
want
the
him to
club.
do?
That's what he
That's what I
asked.
was
He was
saying.
like,
And that's what
you
I
want me
wrote
to
down
jump?
too. Like, thank you. That's exactly what I wrote down too. I'm like, they're at dinner. What exactly does she want him to do? Like, jump on the table, get like a whole party getting started in the restaurant? Like, he was trying to show you another side of himself, right? Because that's usually what'll come up is like, we only see this one side of you, the funny, hilarious. We want to see, the other side, the more serious side. So here he is trying to show that. And then someone's like, no, I want to see the playful side of you. So
Yeah,
I was
it
kind of
was
like,
weird.
weird, cut this short. We don't need to see this. This is not ain't nothing happening here, no connection here.
Mm-mm. Nope. Um, I wrote down
What?
that I think some people can dislike something from a person they are unattracted to and like it for someone that they are attracted to. So to me, this date, James Red, was more like, low key and demure and more like straight, which is kind of like Quentin, and she likes Quentin. Like, he's not like, let me jump all over, at least from what we've seen up until this point. They've had real serious
Mm-hmm.
conversations. It's been like low key. It hasn't been like this big, let me perform for you on stage kind of personality. So if you like him, then what's the difference here? I don't get it. Other than you just don't like him. So you should just say
No,
that.
I think what you said is spot on. There's little things that could annoy us and anyone else, but then when somebody we like, then it's cute, it's quirky, it's what have you. So she's not attracted to Red. There's no interest there. So it just seemed like she was picking on that, like, oh, he's not fun, he's not this. I want to see that side of him. When you already know, I mean, according to him, he's Mr. Dallas. Like, I guess they should already know who he is and what he's about. So you should already be familiar with that side of him. And here he is trying to show, that part. If you know who he is, that,
Right.
all of that.
Right.
So it was just interesting. But yeah, I think what you said is spot on. So as for Quentin, he is a little bit more reserved that we've seen, not, all over the place. And she liked that about him. And they have a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more connection, things in common. So they have a more deeper connection too with the whole health and gym fitness
Right.
aspect of things.
Right. That's all I have for them. I just thought that was a terrible date.
So, and it seemed like it was so
Terrible.
long. I was like, this, they could
It
go ahead and wrap this
was.
up.
Some of the
Why
good
is this
ones they be
going so
cutting
long?
short, and it's like, let's just keep rolling this on. We don't need it. Um, I have after this is the HoeDown. Did you have something else
The whole
before
down,
that?
yes.
Okay, so Dallas style HoeDown is coming up, so everybody's there. Um, we forgot when Tommy introduced the show at the beginning, he met with the ladies at some kind of like breakfast place. And that was the
A
first
brunch.
time that all the ladies met Kat. Because remember, she's still new. Everybody still haven't met her yet. They be sizing her up, be like, okay, what's going on here? So I just wanted to mention that really quick because I think at the HoeDown was the first time everybody met Christopher. Like everybody met Christopher.
Right.
So Christopher and what I have written down is Christopher and Unique were flirting a bit. Like they were actually having a conversation. They were kind of having a little, getting to know you, little banter here and there. So I guess they're feeling each other, which I don't know who else Unique really has at that point. I guess Marvin, but they were kind of feeling each other.
Marvin. But I thought that was unique between her and Christopher because just the other week when they playing the flag football, they were talking, and he was like, "Oh, I don't think she's fully healed from her past relationship.
Mm,
She was a straight shooter. She like was like, here's what I want, here's what I'm interested in." And he was kind of like, oh, like he was taken
yeah.
aback by that. And someone else made
Mm,
a comment as well. But this week, he made some type of comment of like, oh, like he kind of liked that she was
yeah.
straight about what she was looking for and everything. And I'm like, but just last week,
Right.
eh. But we have a right to change our
Yeah.
minds. And maybe it was because
Yeah.
they got the chance to really talk
Have a
more and
deeper
he could see a little bit
conversation.
more.
Right. Hmm.
Hmm.
And it's still new. That's like probably 15 minutes. They probably talked that because there was so many people at that date. So maybe he had more time to talk to her at the hotel. I don't know. I have
Right.
that Janelle likes Herbert and Quentin. So I guess she's gotten to her top two. So finally, girl, those are your people. Great. But I'm gonna say this, I'm sorry, Lord. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
I was looking at Herbert. Does Herbert have a lazy eye?
Yeah. So I
Because I
kind
was
of
like,
noticed
but I
it
couldn't
like a couple
tell.
episodes ago,
Oh, okay.
but it's I think it's just a little lazy.
A
It's
little
not
slight,
like
right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not like
yeah.
way over
But
here. It's just like a little. I was like, I can't tell because I can only tell sometimes. I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's why he wears a lot of glasses. I'm trying to hide that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no,
Okay.
I was just saying yeah.
And then, oh Lord, let's talk about this terrible interaction that James has with Unique for reasons I
Girl,
don't really understand.
why?
His reason is, oh, he wants to make sure that he buttons up all his relationships so he doesn't go home. And he just basically buys his ticket straight and in a hurry to his house. Okay. Never to return. Because you have this whole discussion with this girl. She don't like you. You don't like her. What else are you trying to talk about at this point?
Yes, be done with it. Y'all done established this. So why the need to try to have this conversation with her? It's not gonna go nowhere. It was
He
meaningless.
just looks so terrible. And she's just looking at him like, yeah, this is a little narcissistic. Okay. And he's like, I got the name in the city. Everybody knows my name. Everybody knows my face. I have a good reputation, blah, blah, blah. But what is the reputation of being a good DJ and people knowing you have to do with what she said? She said that you have a thought job. Having a good reputation and being a thought is two separate things. You could have a good working
Right.
relationship with anybody, any company, but you could also be a hoe in the streets. Okay. So it's fine if you're not, but if you're not, then move on. Be like, girl, you don't know what you're
Move
talking about.
on. Like
That's
it
me.
was
And then
just
that's it.
it. And like he said, she in the same entertainment industry, in the same industry.
Exactly.
So it was just
Exactly.
a jest. She was just making, a joke. And
Hmm.
when they say hit dogs holler, because
I mean,
it's
holler,
done
holler,
really
holler.
done
And still
affected him
hollering.
because he's still hollering about it, right?
Yes.
And she was
Like,
like, it was a joke.
chill.
You can't take a joke. All right.
And
I
you're a
don't have nothing else.
comedian.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Right. Like, what is this? He was just so hurt by this comment. And it just, first of all, saying somebody's a thought is already light. People don't like say, "Oh, you a thought," as if that's a curse word, right? It's not as derogatory as other things. To me, it's funny already to call somebody a thought. So if somebody calls you that, you'd be like, or whatever, or be like, get out of here, you playing. But it's not
Right.
like I don't, it just seems so weird. It seems so strange, but he just was not feeling her. And we'll get to his demise later. um, our girl Aries was out here flirting with Philip a little bit. She was giggling. She said she felt like a little schoolgirl with Philip. I was like, oh, see you. Okay, come on. I don't know how I feel about Philip, but if you feeling him, do your thing, girl.
Yeah, I wasn't. I did see this connection, not like nothing that can actually develop out of it. But hey, okay. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Like I said,
Right.
they'll be calling, talking to each other that we don't really get to hear about those conversations. So maybe they've been talking and have a good
Hmm.
relationship and things are going well. So, and something to build on. So good luck. Interested to see more about that, how that plays out.
Yeah. What you got over there on your notes?
That was it. What I said.
Oh, for the whole HoeDown? No, I'm just saying anybody else that you
Oh,
saw.
for everything else?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Who else haven't missed? Oh, Kiara and Marvin. They got together and they had previously had a date, and Marvin had mentioned how he was interested in moving back to the Caribbean. And Kira, right? That's right, that's her name.
Kira.
Kira. She was not interested in moving to the Caribbean. So I don't know. I guess she took that as he should be on the show. Like if he is kind of being disingenuous about staying in Dallas area, but he wants to actually move back to the Caribbean. So he was he made a comment about, he made these plans before and not wasn't taking into consideration like if he were to have somebody in his life or wife or what have you. And I don't know. I feel like we do that all the time, right? We're making plans, but then things
Right.
happen and change, and then you have to take into consideration. And she was like, "Oh, I think he's just saying that because that's what um he thinks I want to hear." But that's the truth too. You have to
Yeah.
maneuver and revise plans and things. Things don't happen always the way you plan things out. So even though that might be aspiration of his to move back home, that it may not happen if he meets the right person and he's ready to stay and live in Dallas. So I don't know. So how she just took that to be like, oh, he's just telling me what I want to hear or whatever. Mm, I'm not feeling her at all. I'm ready for her to go, to be honest.
Yeah, she's a weird one for me. I don't know who she's
Hmm.
connecting with. It seems like nobody. She's like wants to be the producer of the show. She ready to kick people off at a whim. She just like, yeah, get him off. She need to go. And I'm like, girl, are you here looking for love or are you trying to produce a show? I think they're fine. Let's just keep it going. So I just wrote down, is she even
Hmm.
connecting with anybody? Marvin is weird too, but her stance on certain things I don't get. So like, whatever.
I mean, it made it sound like Right? I think she was playing though. Like we talked about it that one time that they all went on a date and it was her and Janelle talking over Red. And we were like, wait,
Oh
what?
yeah. I don't know what that was
I felt like
at
that was just
all.
some little female competition or something between
Yeah.
that. I'm like, they not really interested in Red. I don't know what that's about.
Yep. I
Um,
believe that.
and then who else? So it appears on the surface like there might be people she has connections with, but I don't think at the end she really has a real connection. No.
Yeah. I have that
Um,
Chris, I forgot to say at the beginning of the HoeDown, Chris raised his hand like he was in school. Talk about Mr.
oh,
Tommy, I gotta go early. I gotta go receive an award for work. So I have to leave early. He was just like, you gotta receive an award, huh? Yeah, I really I wanna go. He's like, all right. I was like, why is he saying it? Like it's like he sounds so
like
like
he's about bringing.
nervous.
You know why? I don't, and it's not really maybe the reason why, but in a previous season, there was a guy who had a work conference. I guess it was, a pre-planned work conference, so he had to leave. And Tommy was all like, "What? He gonna go to a work conference and not come to this? Like, he need to figure out what his priorities are, what's important." It's like, this man is
My job,
working. This is his
my
job.
job.
Yes.
Ain't
And it's
nobody
like
gonna
it just
want me
came
with no
across like
job. Like, what are you
Tommy
talking
was just
about?
like, "Oh, yeah, we have to have a talk about that or something." I was like, really? So I feel like that is part of this. They must really ingrain them like you can't miss any episodes if we tape. You have to be here. So that's probably why they're like, "Hey, so
Oh
I gotta
gosh.
go. Can you
I don't
sign
know
my
why they
permission
put
slip
him
and
up.
let me go?"
Right. That's what it sounds like. Now you had to talk to the producers. You had to let them know everything. What is this whole song and dance here? As if Tommy didn't even know this was coming.
And then I was
Okay,
like, "Well,
okay.
why did you come? Like, how quickly did you have
Wow.
to
Yeah.
leave?" But it seemed like he was there for a good amount of time. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if you were there for
Mm-hmm.
a while and you had to slip out, what have you, whatever. But
Yeah.
okay, cool.
So
So
before
speaking
he
of,
leaves, oh, go ahead.
oh, that's what I was going to. Him and Jessica making their little
Yes,
rounds.
I was like, what is this? What's going on here?
So
It's
I
so
was
weird.
like, this might backfire actually. So Jessica and Chris seems to have a connection, and so
Mhm.
she's taking him around to the other ladies to kind of leave a lasting impression, I guess, so that when they go to deliberation, they won't get rid of him. But
Mhm.
I can see that backfiring because if you are doing that, then people are like, oh, they got a connection. I don't have a connection with him. So yeah, he's an
Right.
easy one to get rid of. Instead of just like kind of like out of sight, out of mind, he's gone. As other people that they don't like, that's who they're gonna focus on. But
Yeah. But I don't think Chris
that
is
was
nowhere near the bottom. I think they're very
mm,
strategic where most people, like, even if it's like, I don't have a connection with him, I don't like him. That's more like where it is. I think eventually when those people start coming off, then it's going to be
mhm.
what you're saying is like, well, then what that got to do with me? My man's still over here. So I'm going to keep him over you. So, but we're not there yet. We got a couple more that could probably go before it even gets to that
Yeah.
point. Yeah. So so they get taught a line dance by people there. I don't know. This was, it's good. Black ownership is awesome. They kind of said that this was a ranch owned by black cowboys, and they had the black cowboys out there. I thought we were gonna see something. They just came out there to stand
I
out
thought so
there and look
too.
cute. And then they brought some people to do a line dance. And so they were all dancing and stuff like that. I guess Janelle and Quentin were flirt dancing, kind of, sort of. So we're like, okay, I see what's going on over there. But I didn't get nothing else out of dancing. Oh, Christopher not knowing
Other
how to.
than Christopher ain't got no rhythm. Poor Christopher, the newest Christopher, the new one to join.
Oh my
He said
gosh.
himself. He's like, I don't even know how to do the electric slide. They show him, like, they show everybody dancing. They seem to be getting it. And then the music just kind of like
Why did
slows
they
down
do
to
him
show him
like
struggling.
this? They should have.
So
He
we can
should have
talk
never.
about it and laugh.
I'm so sorry.
Wild.
So sorry, Christopher. They didn't have to do you like
Oh, man.
that.
Yeah, poor thing. But yeah, so you mentioned Janelle and Quentin, and so for sure, there's something definitely going on there. There's a connection between the two of them. So it's gonna be a hard one, like she said. It's like him and Herbert. Like 1 week it might be this one. They say something, they move to the top, and then she talks to the other one when she does get to talk to him, which we'll bring up in a few. But it's gonna be a little toss up. I can see them two, or Herbert and Quentin, making it to the end where it becomes really this like, who does she choose? And they've done that in the past. So we'll see. And then who else? Oh, Marvin and Lee. Why? This was just for our entertainment.
Of course it was. I'll take this, okay, because I didn't want to Google some of this stuff because I was like, what is that?
So you go ahead and Google. And your husband gonna look at me like, what is this now?
I was like, what is, he said, ass worshiping, okay, which, what do you do? Like, do you build a shrine? Like, I don't know what you need to do because there's incense that you put in the butt. I don't know what's happening.
Incense?
Will you worship something like the little, okay, never mind. So then he talked about forced orgasms, and I was just like, sir, I'll be feeling
I wrote wrong show. He is on the wrong show.
He is on the
I don't know if they have a,
He is. I agree. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't know if they have a show for people in that
of course they do.
Field who like to do that. Dating show, do they? Oh, okay. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if it's a dating show, but if he wants it, to me, he's not dating. Him and Lee having this conversation had nothing to do with the date. He was just talking about stuff that he wanted to talk
He
about.
was just, it was shock value. Like, let me see how I can ruffle her feathers, kind of like, And she's like, what? So with that being said, I don't want to jump too far ahead.
I think we're almost done. We're at the end done when Jessica calls them
up. So then we can talk about who ended up in the bottom two, right?
Yeah.
And Marvin ends up in the bottom two. And the comments that Jessica was making was like, the ladies are interested, but it's the stories that you take. And I'm like, are they interested? Like, where does this come from? This summary? That's not what I heard from, like, and don't seem like no women are really into this lifestyle. So I'm not getting it. What stories that y'all just not into, but y'all okay with him and the lifestyle? Like, y'all be
I think that came from the one comment that Kira made, which is he tells people what he wants them to hear. But that's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah. And then, not surprise, or not surprising, Red ended up in the bottom two as well.
So they left this as a cliffhanger. Before you watch the next episode, who did you think was gonna go home?
Red.
Okay, me too.
From the beginning, I was like, it's Red. Yeah, it's not how they do this, how they show the people and on the episode and how they talk. It's just like, it feels like it gives breadcrumbs of who's gonna end up in the bottom too, and who's gonna probably end up leaving. So I was like, Red's gonna be at the bottom two for sure. And I can see people dealing with Marvin one more week versus Red.
That's so true. And you're right, because even at the end of the episode, and they did the preview for the next week, episode 5, they already showed that Kira was in the bottom. And I'm like, why would you put that there? There was no other clips that you could put in the preview that we don't know that that's coming. It was so weird, but okay.
No.
Weird.
So, okay. Fire Red, or what's his first name you like to call him? James.
What I like to call
government name.
him, that is the man's name.
I mean, his government name. She likes to go by his government name. I was calling him by the name he presented to the show and it's going by on the show, Red. But
the stage name. Bye.
I mean, he is on the show, so stage. All right, so now we're in episode 5. The men have control. So we're back in the so we'll be in the men's lounge, get to know each other, get to hear their reaction to things. And they should open that up with, you know, Tommy talking to them, and he's telling them that they need to get to the non-negotiables. What are each person's non-negotiables? And the first mega date, I'm gonna call it a mega date, that we showed, because it's like, seemed like it was like 8 people. Who was it? It was her. Is this the right one? Hold on.
It
was one. It was like, okay,
yeah, no, the first one was pickleball. Like, they went to play pickleball with people. Herbert, Janelle, Quentin, and Kat. That was the first date. Yes.
Okay, my bad. I'm moving forward a little bit. I'm thinking of the another date. Okay, so so it's the 4 of them. Of course, as we already talked about, Herbert and Quentin are Janelle's top 2, and they like her too. So that was interesting. You know, Herbert invited them, so he planned this date, and Janelle came swinging. She was just like, "Oh yeah, Herbert, I ain't heard from you in a while. Like you don't return text." And he was like dodging that little question. He was doing little Kim, because he never really came out and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, this happened. I got got busy or whatever." He just didn't address it at all. And she was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna let that slide." But she brought it right back up later, which she should have. She did right.
I agree.
She did right. So what were some of the non-negotiables you remember? So I wrote down for Herbert, his non-negotiable was children. He wanted to be with someone who wanted children. So if there was anyone who, say, already has children, who didn't want anymore, then that wouldn't work.
Which is something that Kat spoke to, because she says she's on the fence, that she doesn't know if she wants to have kids. She's leaning towards no, but I guess could go to yes, but it sounds like it's more of a no. So she was already like, okay, I'm gonna have to decide if I do want to, move forward, or we do end up moving forward. That's gonna be a big thing that I would have to make a decision on. So like, okay. I think Janelle said she wants someone ambitious. I couldn't remember every single thing that she said.
They were saying.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one then. That's why I just picked the one I could remember and wrote down.
Yeah, his was more, to me, his was more direct. I feel like everybody else's non-negotiables were kind of like high level kind of things, instead of like, this is my one non-negotiable.
So Quentin and Janelle had something similar, because I remember them mentioning like, oh yeah, like that's another area they're compatible in, because they
that's what Quentin said. And I feel like he squeezed that together to make it seem like it was compatible. I don't think it was the same thing, but it could just be me that I'm misremembering. But I was just like, okay, you just like her.
Two together.
You just like her. Just say that. That's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. So this is my first time seeing pickleball, because I've been hearing, pickleball's all the rage, and I haven't Googled it or whatever. And I am so confused on what this is. Is it like ping pong? Like a tennis ping pong, like a large size ping pong?
I mean, I don't know nothing about it other than what I've seen too, but I guess you could say it's a mesh between ping pong without the table and tennis, because you have like that paddle. but you're
Right.
playing against the net and all of that. So
Right.
yeah, it was very,
Okay. Because
they
I was like,
remixed
what
the
is
tennis
happening here?
basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. Fun.
but they're like popping up everywhere all of a
Yeah, but
sudden.
I'm trying to understand like why. But okay. Got it. I didn't have
Um,
nothing else from that day other than basically they kind of switch dates, talk to each other, get to know each other, and Janelle needs to pick who her number one is because they're gonna start getting jealous because you already see what's happening.
yeah, and from what we just mentioned too, she when she went to have her one-on-one with Herbert, she brought back up about him not responding and that he needs to be a little bit more deliberate and communicating to her and all of that kind of stuff. And he was like, okay, I hear you. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
better. So
yeah.
we'll see. So yeah, that was it with that date. So next is Chris and Aries.
Hmm.
Um, Chris invited Aries to his house. He had a chef and made food. That's intentional dating there, man. You took the
Chris,
time to plan and put it together. Yeah.
you hats off. This was the date right here. I mean, from the entire thing. To me, it was like this is his person, even though I think he's still kind of looking at Jessica and Kat because he had some dates with them too. So I don't know where Aries falls, but this is hard to top. This was a good one,
Yeah.
but yeah, and his house was nice.
I agree. It was nice. And he talked about his daughter. So,
Mhm.
Aries has 2 kids. And so they were talking about family, talked about how both his parents are deceased,
Yeah.
and got a little choked up, got a little vulnerable and showed some emotion and talking about that part of family and kind of how that's missing. And then seeing her being with her kids and all of that. And then he showed a nice painting of us that's a friend did for him, right? Of his
Hmm.
mom and of them too. That was really nice. So it's, I think if, like you're saying, if Aries was not someone he was really interested in, I don't know if he would have really put in the effort here.
No, I
So
don't think
obviously
so.
there's something that he really liked. And I remember from one of the first episodes, they were talking. And he was Aries, or he brought it up, but he's younger than her. And so I think they were trying to make that kind of like, oh, is that going to be a big deal? What you remember that they were at Aries' house, I think, when that
Yeah,
happened.
so they both have been to each other's houses now at this point. But
Mhm.
who she was talking to at that time was Quentin, because Quentin is much younger than her, like
That
10
was Quentin
years.
she was talking about. Okay, my bad.
Yes. This, because I had to go back. I was like, how old is Chris? Chris is 39. So I don't think there's a huge
Or
age gap here. But for Quentin, I don't think Quentin's had any kids and he's super
no.
young. So that's why she was just like, really trying to be with me. Listen, I don't have time. Aries don't have time. Okay. Aries is a grown ass woman. Okay. Looking for a grown ass man to come into her life, her kid's life, and you need to make sure you have your stuff together. So I could see that there was probably going to be a mismatch with Quentin, but for Chris, this, I think I like it more
You
than
can see
Philip.
something.
Yeah,
You
I
like
like
him
it more
more
than
than
Philip.
Philip.
Hmm.
Okay.
I don't know Philip. I don't know Chris, but I feel like I learned a lot this episode about Chris that I liked. Just the whole work part with the award. He's very polite. He's very like open, right? About
Hmm.
his life and stuff like that. He's very intentional. So I'm starting to like Chris. I don't know Philip. I don't know nothing about him.
We don't know much
So
about Philip at all. So
no. Mm-mm.
okay. Well, I'm definitely
Yeah.
interested to see more with these two and see where it goes.
And he got
Um,
her a gift. They didn't show us what the gift was. Aries,
they
what he
didn't,
got
but
you? Well, he got you. Put it in the
Did
chat.
she be talking to us? Yes. So tell us what
Put
was
it
in
in the
that
chat.
bag.
We saw it was a nice bag. She had something in her hand. I was like, oh, cut all that out. Come on now. We want to see. Anyways, go ahead.
So yeah, I'm interested to see more about with those two and see what happens.
Yes.
And then we come to the only person who, or the only two that seem to have a connection with each other. Like I don't think no one else they connect with. Marvin and Unique. Like Unique don't have no other connection. Marvin don't have no other connection.
Well, I guess
so.
Well, okay, because you said that Christopher kind of flip flopped. So yeah, she doesn't. I don't. That's probably not.
Yeah, I didn't see a
real
connection. I just saw them just talking. Yeah.
Okay.
But these two seem to, with this scene for sure, like they have something in common. So they went horseback riding. And Marvin set that up and had a picnic. He was saying how Unique has a history of riding horses and likes riding horses. He had never ridden a horse. So since he had been to Dallas, so he set that up. Yeah, it just seemed like surprisingly they have a little something going on. They even kissed. Like we had our first, I think that's the first kiss of the season. I don't remember seeing anyone else kiss. You remember?
Nope.
No, I don't think so, right? So yeah.
No.
So the first kiss of the season. Oh, wait a minute. Pause. Let's go back. Chris and Aries. Non-negotiables. I don't have anything written down, so I don't know if I caught them or not. Did you catch what they said their non-negotiables were?
They did say it. No idea. I ain't write it down. No. But I remember them talking about it.
Is it with family? I think it has to do something with family because that was the
why he
the main topic of.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. I really don't. I'm really trying to
Yeah.
I was more impressed by the date, but they did talk about.
Okay, Aries, let us know what were the non-negotiables we missed. Yours and Chris.
Sorry.
Okay, back to Marvin and Unique. So Marvin's non-negotiable was he wants more children. So I guess he already has one at least. I heard him mention a daughter, and he wants at least two more, and one must be a boy. Good luck. So that was an interesting
and she told him, I said, what if that's not possible? And he's like, no, I must have a son. And to me, that means if I don't have one with you, I will go get me one. By any means necessary. I'm gonna have this boy. And I'm thinking like, how
he's gonna keep trying.
Like, are you okay? I'd be like, are you all right? And I noticed he don't really talk a lot of like his other life with her that much. Maybe he just feels like, oh, I can talk about other things because you're okay with my lifestyle or whatever. But he's just strange. Every date, I'd be like, Marvin, are you like 5 people in one? Because I don't understand what's going on here. He surprised me every time. Like this whole date was very thoughtful and everything, but then he starts with some foolishness about having a son. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't catch Unique's. I probably was because I was like in shock of his, steadfastness of he gonna have a boy. But did you catch Unique's non-negotiable?
No, but I have that he's saying in the confessional that he prefers to have a woman who doesn't have kids. So I'm so confused with Marvin. Do you like this girl or not? You know that she has kids. You know that they're girls. You know you have a girl. Why are you talking to this girl and doing like romantic dates and kissing her and all that stuff when you know you don't like her? But then going back to what you said, this is his only connection. So what else is he going to do? So weird. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, what was next? What you have?
Okay, this is the big date Okay, this is the mega date right here. Okay, we got Moyer. I have a note. What the heck does he have on? Okay. Then we have Jessica, Kira, Sierra, Herbert, and Chris. And I was like, Moya, what is this? It's an improv
What?
class for people to go on a date for. And I was so confused on what was happening this whole day. Were you confused?
You were confused by the outfit or the
No,
class
the
or both?
date. Both.
Today? Or both?
Both. I was confused. I was like, is
Both
this
for
an
me.
overall? But it was like short, but then it was like loose. And I was like, what's happening? It didn't go right. I just was like, this is
It
not
was like
your outfit.
it was a little kid overall that he put on. It was not. It was not fitting.
I thought they went somewhere that required this outfit, honestly. Because like when I first saw him, I was just like, oh, okay, they're going somewhere farm. They're going to go pick flowers or something that made sense that he would say an overall is what I need to have on. And I was confused. So, anyways, we're going past his outfit and we're going to talk about this date. That was weird.
Yeah, I was. They needed something to do. That's all stuff I can come up with because I didn't get the connection of having
At
this to
all.
get to their non-negotiable. Like, why can't you just have a round table and just go person by person and tell your non-negotiable? Having these
And it
little
was so awkward. It was so
improv
weird.
scenarios.
Yes, that was so weird.
No, the one that was the awkward one was with him and Kira. Yes. And we were talking about something about health, and she was like, health is important. And she's like, is it? And he was like, I forgot what he said, but he basically like, yeah, the way God made me, okay, you can't lose fat in certain areas, okay? Don't come from me. I eat very healthy, okay?
I was like, did she just, it was like such a low-key shade, like, are you?
You?
Like, yes.
And her voice too. You?
Are you? You're healthy? That's one of your non-negotiables. Okay. Her facial expressions this entire 2 episodes, I was like, girl, stop it. She'd be like, her face be scrunched up, just be all over the place. All over the place. So
oh man.
They're so her thing was being religious, right? Yes. Hers was that she was religious. I know. He should have said the same thing. Are you?
Session, sorry. Oh,
he should have asked her that. But yeah. So Philip and Kat had their thing. I don't know what the real scenarios were because I was completely lost. But at the end, both of them said that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Their scenario was something about visiting a family member in a hospital. And then it got real sexual, like, let's do it in the bathroom. I was ready to get it on or something like that. Yeah. It was just like, what now?
Yeah, they were talking about having a baby. And it's something like, I don't know what was happening. But so Philip and Kat was like spiritual, but not religious. Herbert and Sierra was talking about having kids. And Chris and Jessica was talking about finding resolutions, and then Jessica was
wait. You said Philip and Kat?
Yeah, they were
at the improv class.
Oh, geez.
Oh, you moved past that. They did. I do have them. I have them.
No, they had their own date. I'm sorry, I went too far down. They had their own date. It was just Jessica and Chris, Herbert and Sierra, and Moyer and Kira. Sorry. It was just 6 of them.
Yeah, okay.
My bad. Yeah, so I was just like, this needed to be over. I felt like Kira here. Because Kira was like, what kind of date is this? I felt the same way.
Same way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways.
So then fast forward to Philip and Kat and their own date. Yes. What you just said, that's the only note I have is that they connected on the fact that they're both spiritual and not religious. Um, yeah, okay, we'll see how far that gets you. Yeah, I mean, like it was like if that's the only thing, like y'all need
Yeah.
a little bit more. Like, what
Like
else?
I
What
said,
else do
I
you
don't know Philip at all. Who is Philip? Okay. Alrighty. So
have?
he
This little
asked
interesting,
her.
babe.
Oh, I have
Oh,
one more thing for them. He
oh, go
asked
ahead,
her
go
if
ahead, go
she
ahead.
was okay with the man with kids, and she sounded like she was okay with it, but she's like, as long as there's no drama. And everybody always says this, and the other person's always like, no drama, we promise. And
Right.
you know, sometimes you can't control all that. So that was it. That's all I had. So yeah, go into this date.
Kickboxing, ding ding. I think that's a terrible name, but that's the name of the boxing club that
We just
Quentin
go poo-poo
invited
over that.
Unique.
We go
Huh?
poo-poo over all of these dates. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Ding ding.
That's the boxing place. Quinn brings Unique and Kira, and he made it. I feel like this was a test because he made a comment about both of them saying they don't work out. So it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna bring them here and make them work out. Because he's all into fitness. So it's like, is this like
Right.
you testing them? Like, what's that about? Um, but they're doing their little boxing thing. Unique. Hold on, let me read my little note. Okay, so yeah, so he and Unique have their little moment together, separate, and they're talking. And she says something for me that made me agree with most of the guys that yeah, I think she is not ready just yet to like ready to love,
Move
as they
forward.
say, for the show. So,
Mhm.
and I think she even hit on it that there's areas where she realized, oh, I'm not there yet. I'm not completely healed. And so I'm like, these guys saw something. Of course, they're spending more time with her than we're
Right.
seeing, but
Right.
they're seeing something that definitely reads that she's not ready. And so I'm like, okay, I think there was something said that touched on that I saw it as well.
Hmm. Um. Yeah. I guess they had a good time. Unique was like, "Yeah, I felt proud of myself," and Kira was like, "Yeah, we did a good job. Yeah, 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 yeah." I don't know why he went on it with them. I feel like he just knew that he didn't have no connections with them, and they were like, "Hey, let's set you up on this date. Pick some people new." Um, and then this is how he found out that Kira thought that he was only attracted to white women. And he was so offended by this and said, like, I've never dated a white woman in my life. Where did you even get that from? And she's like, I don't know. I just picked up on it. You know, I have a lot of white friends, and I feel like I can say that you just seem like you like white. I'm like, girl, what? She's like, nobody, like ever, like not even Latina. And he was like, well, I've
And he's like,
dated
yeah.
one or two, but I want black love. I've, my family, and I've seen that. That's what I want.
Well, remember, well, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, she brought that up, and someone else said the same thing that they thought that he only dates white women. And
Somebody else?
I feel like yes, it was like two people that,
No,
um,
no, because
no,
Tequila, no, Tequila was on the bandwagon, but they didn't have no real evidence of this. That
no,
was just
not that
their
they had, but
opinion.
somebody else agreed, was
Oh,
like, yeah, I do think like, so
yeah, that was
yeah, so it was
Tequila.
Tequila. Yeah.
Well,
So I'm like,
she
I knew it
only
was
says that
somebody
because
else.
nobody don't like her. We can't trust her opinion on that. Come on, man.
I'm just saying it was two people that came to the same thought
No, it
process.
was Tequila.
At least one other person was like, "Oh yeah." Mm-hmm. But then did they not show? No, that was something else. Let me take it back. So yeah, so I remember that came up. So I was surprised she brought that up to him, and I can totally see why that would be a total turn off. He wasn't interested anyways,
Yes.
but now he really like, girl, get out my face.
Get out of here.
Let's go on in this date. He probably picked not kickboxing, boxing, because it didn't require a lot of talking, so he didn't have to really get to know them like that. It was just we just need to be in the same little area. And for this date, then we'll, how they separate and do a couple 5 minutes here and then 5 minutes with that one. And they were like, all right, I'm out. He was
Deuces.
ready to go.
Yep, pretty much. I don't think I had anything else for that.
Yeah, I don't have anything either. Oh, the only thing I did notice, once we go back to like the guys' room and all the men are coming in, that Christopher wasn't in this episode. Really, he didn't go on any dates.
Oh yeah, he didn't go on any dates. No.
Mm-mm.
Which is weird because
So
he just got here. I just don't understand.
yes.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting that he didn't go on any. So guys go through, their top connections, and Christopher says that Kira was his, and I was like, really? When did that happen?
Oh, I missed that.
He did, because I wrote it down and put really
You like
mark. I was like, when did that happen? Kira, really? That's who you have a connection with? Interesting. Okay. Not surprised about any of the other ones. And then we get to, they start naming who they don't have a connection with. And unfortunately, our girl Aries' name comes up a couple of times, but I get why for them she's not a good connection, which is she doesn't want more kids, and these two guys do want kids, so there wouldn't be, a connection for them there. But at the end, the bottom two are Unique and Kira, and they go on their little dates, right? Marye.
They need to stop doing this. Stop doing this.
And Kira.
Stop
and
it.
Marvin and Unique.
Oh my god.
You don't like you don't like this part when they do these little one-on-one dates and they go through with the guys or the girls.
I loved the HoeDown where Jessica was like, y'all two come up here, one of y'all go home. Period. That's it. That's the end of the night. Everybody go home. It's over. Right? Marvin got on my nerves in the gentleman's lounge because he gonna brag about getting the first kiss from Unique and then put her as a top and a bottom. How do you put her like, yes, I have a connection with her, and then also say, yeah, she ain't ready for this, and then had the nerve to go on the follow-up date to tell her to go home after you did this nice date? Like, what is this?
I wonder how they select those who goes on these dates. Usually it's the person that they do have some little connection, so I guess they feel like it'll be perceived as love, I guess, instead. Like, oh, this is what you need. I don't know. I was like, how do they pick these people? But Marvin and Unique, I can kind of see because they were just having this little connection. But I totally even missed that part of what you said, that he named her as his connection and then as someone he don't have a connection with. Like, there's something else.
He put her at the top and bottom and then went on a date where they was eating food, drinking drinks, just to be like, girl, no.
You ain't it.
And then Monye, right? Let me snuff out your little torch. Monye and Kira go out and he proceeds to order food, okay? With his healthy behind, okay? Order a burger. And start this conversation. Well, the guys have talked. We think that whatever. She's like, oh, good things or bad things? Like, girl, like you don't know. And then in the middle of his speech, he gonna be like, oh man. Moye.
Oh, it's just mustard.
And then was about to bite it, and then he forgot he was in the middle of a speech. I was like, what is your problem? Why do they even do this? And so
I agree with you, because you said the other week, like, they don't need to be eating or whatever. They maybe just have your little drink and then be done with it. Yeah, why do y'all having whole meals like this? Y'all not staying for the whole meal. You're not, because if you say I'm not ready to love, I'm getting up and I'm walking out. Why?
But in this case, he told her in the middle of them eating, right? And she left. She was like, okay, good, I'm good. And the burger was still sitting there. So I know she left right away. So then you go sit there and eat a burger by yourself. Like, why?
Oh my God.
Why are we doing this? I cannot stand it.
So with that, I think I may have already given away who left, which was Unique. And Unique is the one they gave the kick rocks to. But when they, you know how they talk about what the guy said and they give like the little summary with Kira, they were like, basically, we don't think you black enough. And I was like, where'd that come from?
I was like, you don't have the black power. This and that. Was just like, Moye, is this just you? You cannot go on a date and tell this girl that she is not black enough. You don't know her like that. What in the world?
That's what I mean. Like, how did they come up with this little summary? Because sometimes I feel like it's totally not what was said that we saw. It must have been some other things that were said. But he was the only one in the gentleman's lounge that mentioned something about he liked to, into social justice and be active in marching or whatever. And he don't see her as being there on the front lines with him. Okay, so there might be other ways that she could support, but just because of that, then now you basically saying, and you're judging her, which I mean, I was judging her too with that voice, that she not black enough. Like, well, I'm gonna say that because I'm like, you gonna say Quentin, you think he date only white women? And I mean, like you said, you judging him, people prejudge you all the time. And I can see,
right,
based on the first impression of you, people would probably think you probably date exclusively white or white as well. Yeah. So like, you up here judging him, they don't want to be judged.
I know. I hate this conversation because it's like more of the black people only can be one way, basically. And from her side too, like the way how she, threw Quentin under the bus like that because maybe he didn't like her like that, then all of a sudden that means he don't like black women. Like, it's just, I don't like it.
Can we all just get along? As Rodney King said. Yeah.
So she's still there.
She's there. That was this week's episode. Unique, unfortunately, is out. Marvin right behind her. That's my 2 cents.
That's your prediction.
I'll go ahead and say it now. I'm thinking
who would be the second bottom then?
Between with the guys?
I think it would be between Christopher and Philip. Yep. I don't see a lot going on there.
Yeah, I agree.
Then next week, I think we should start pairing up people. We should see who's with who, like what our predictions are. Because I feel like it'll be pared down enough that we should be able to pick.
Start matching people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that next week. Yeah. All right. We'll get back with y'all on the time and date. So hit that notification button so you get notified for when we do go live to discuss this coming week of episode of Ready to Love. Hit the subscription button as well. So hit both. And let us know your thoughts so far. Talk to us in the comments. We'll respond back. And join us live if you can. We see y'all watching. So join the conversation. Let us know your thoughts.
Yes.
Anything else on your end, Miss Lori?
Yeah, keep up those church announcements. Push the like button if you watch this video. Subscribe, all the things. And remember to protect your throne.
Hey. All right.